2021. My guest really doesn't need an introduction yet. He has made quite an impact with the people who are in his circles and who he's interacted with. But seriously, this man knows what he's doing. This man is so sophisticated. This man's an inspiration, and he really is the good guy. But seriously, we are in for a treat, everybody. Ryan Suchsland on the Productive Conversations podcast. My great buddy Ryan, it's great to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for that introduction. I'm really happy to be here. Honestly, you invited me on the show. I'm pretty excited. I've seen a couple episodes, and now I get to be a part of it. So thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yo, man, we can't have the archive without the great Ryan Suchsland, and now we're having it. So I'm just excited and so stoked that you're on. And yeah, let's show off why you're the legendary person you are. So I guess to start it off, Ryan.
Yep.
Talk to me. How's your 2021 been? We're already in August.
Yep.
Right now we obviously grew up together. You're from Norwalk. Our parents are really close. Now you're living in the great state of Florida. I'd love to hear about that journey. Yeah. But talk to me, Ryan. How's just life been so far?
Dude, life's been good. I have nothing to really complain about. Like you said, I live in Florida, Fort Myers, Florida to be specific. So I don't know if you could see out the window, but it's nice and sunny. And I've really been enjoying myself. I've just been kind of focusing on, with everything that's happened this past year, just the things I can and not worrying about the things I can't, right? I feel like that's kind of just how you got to do it now. But within that, just kind of making sure I'm like enjoying the people that are around me here. I've met a lot of really good and new people since I've moved down, focusing on what I do for work, focusing on my relationships with like family and stuff, because now that I am here, I'm not able to just kind of go over to my aunt's or my grandma's house, right, in Connecticut. Yeah. So little about me, we do like a family Zoom every weekend and stuff. So yeah, man, life is good. I really have no qualms, especially for how tough of a past like 18 months it's been for everyone. So
yo, tell me about it. And I'm glad you were able to turn lemons into lemonade with what you're talking to me about.
Thank you.
Some great stuff. So why don't we hit it that, Ryan? So I know graduated from Norwalk High School, went to James Madison University, get your bachelor's, right?
Yes, sir.
What was that? What'd you do graduate with?
So I graduated with a bachelor's degree in marketing and a concentration in sales. Was my excellent diploma, I guess.
Hear that. So you're out in Virginia, you go to this awesome school, the alumni with you and Mr. Anastasia, for anyone who knows them.
Yeah. Yep.
But good stuff here. So you finish out in James Madison. Tell us how you wound up in Fort Myers, Florida.
Good question. So the story really is like, and it kind of goes to that part of like concentration in sales. So when I was at JMU, my junior year, so like in any business major they have at JMU, there's like 10 prerequisite courses that you have to take. So I went through all those, and then my junior year is when your like actual major courses start. So I started taking marketing classes. And one of the marketing classes that is mandatory that you have to take is like a sales intro class. So I was in the class, and quite honestly, for anyone that doesn't know about sales, like it's obviously a lot of talking, a lot of like understanding consumer needs, and like in a classroom setting, you do like role plays and stuff with other students. But anyways, through those, I just kind of, I guess, showed like some promise to the teacher. And then after class one day, he was just like, "Hey man, like, I think you can really like do this. I'd really encourage you to enter JMU sales competition," which essentially, like I was saying, like we do the role plays in class. Is just like a much more formal role play. Like everyone competes in it. They have like outside business people come in and like conduct them like as the buyer or whatever. And lo and behold, I did it, and I actually ended up placing in it. By placing in it, I got to go to Orlando, Florida, ironically, to compete in like a national competition, I guess. So while I was there, it's obviously like you're competing, but there's a bunch of other companies that you want to network with, interview, etc. And through that, I was blessed enough to just kind of meet and shake a lot of hands of people. And I had a lot of job interviews that ended up leading to like opportunities and offers. And one company that I was really attracted to was called Gartner. They recruited heavily at JMU already, and like at the sales competitions, they're very prevalent. And lo and behold, stacking them against some of the other offers and opportunities I had, I just was like, you know what, it sounds like a good like move for me. And lo and behold, they are located here in Fort Myers, Florida. So that was an aspect of it too, right? I thought, hey, I'll be having a nice little job coming out of school, and I get to relocate to an area I've never been to that is pretty renowned, is nice. Why not just take the damn leap? So I ended up taking the leap, and I moved down here, and I moved down here in July 9th of 2018 was my first day. I think I officially moved in July 1st of 2018. So I've been here over 3 years now.
Yeah. Huh.
But that's really how I got down here. Really just kind of going through that process at JMU, the opportunities there, and then just like it led to a job that happened to be here, and everything kind of worked out. And quite honestly, and maybe we can get this later, I'm no longer with that company. I ended up moving on. But I'm so happy I did it. Like I like it here a lot. I really love Florida. So yeah, that's how I got here.
Look at that, man. How inspiring. One question I'd like to ask with what you were explaining.
Sure.
It seems this was a great, successful story of networking. And I know that, it's put in our heads, especially at an early age, especially in the world we live in now, with how crucial it is to start a career and get a position wherever, no matter what the industry, you can always network within it. And,
Absolutely.
Sometimes some people, like yourself, prove that this is exactly what I'm here for and it was meant to be, and glad that I took advantage of networking. And then there are also some people who feel the opposite. Some people feel like, I put myself out there and there's no bites. Some people feel that, it's not necessary, whether you believe that or not. But, of course, when it comes to networking, there's its pros and cons with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that you proved the importance of it. I was wondering, can you, like, for those maybe who are having a hard time trying to find a job, those who are trying to get noticed for something, can you help emphasize how important networking is? And maybe for the people who might have their doubts, maybe you can change their mind on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think someone told me this in college a while ago, and it's kind of a cliche saying, but I think what will really sum up my answer, quite briefly, is they said, it's not about the grades you make, but the hands you shake. And I don't think that is any more true in today's world and anywhere ever. Because at the end of the day, it's all about who you know and your network, and leveraging those people that in that network to put you in opportunities to succeed. And the only way to do that is, for one, build your network, right? And then once you build that network, again, understand how to leverage it. And I think to your question of like, hey, if there's anyone out there that's maybe struggling to network per se, because I do want to say, like, networking has all different types of meanings, right? It could mean like, shaking hands like I was at a job fair per se, or it could just be you're walking down the street, you meet someone, you chop it up, and like, hey, it turns out you have common interests, you stay in touch for a while, like, and you're just friends. Like, that's still a part of your network. But I would just like say like some tips in terms of, I guess, networking in general, and then I guess getting a job. And networking in general, very easier said than done, but just like be able to put yourself out there and be interested, or try to be interested in whatever else that someone has to offer, because people, for one, love to talk about themselves. That's kind of why I'm here. Right. And
makes
then
my job easier.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that too, people really gratify to that. Like, oh, wow, that random person or that person showed interest in me and was really trying to get a better understanding of me. I want to get a better understanding of them, right? The full circle completes and it turns. But then on top of that too, making sure like, you don't just, I keep like bringing up an example of like a conversation, but stay in touch with someone, just check in once in a while. It doesn't have to be like every month, every 6 months. It could be like, hey, happy birthday, like something just like that. But
those go a long way.
It goes a huge long way. And then, when something comes up in your life and you realize, oh, that person was interested in podcasting, right? Oh, wow, 5 years now, they're at a podcasting company. Oh man, I'm Matt Brown. I've been doing a podcast for 5 years. They're looking for the newest person to come on our show. Hey buddy, you remember that conversation we have? I've got this podcast for whatever, think of me. You never know. Like there's an
Right.
example. But from like a job perspective, I would say like just networking, like LinkedIn, like that thing
Right.
is crazy. And little tip for I guess anyone out there, whatever job you want or like whatever company you want to look for, go message, like look up that company, look up employees, and just search the title recruiter. LinkedIn message the recruiter and say, hey, I'm interested in this job. Here's what I do, XYZ. Do you have like a link or a preferred way to get me an interview? Because fun fact, that's the person you need to talk to anyway. And two, they're metric on interviews that they get. So they're going to give you an interview every time. And then once you have an interview from there, it's just all about presenting yourself.
Right.
So that's just like, that's what's ever worked for me when I've ever done job searching. Like I did that in college. I did that finding a new job out of Gartner. And I can't tell you how many times the success rate for that is great. Like they want to give you an interview, so just take it. You just got to ask for it.
Right. And I think people should also realize that there always will be someone who's listening.
Yes.
Even if it's hard to find that diamond in the rough, it really is worth putting yourself out there for it. Not everybody, I really do believe that most people in this world are decent. Maybe not everyone's courteous, but there really will be that person who will be courteous for you if you put yourself out there. I want to make that clear, especially.
Absolutely.
It's that, again, cliches, and sure, we'll probably have plenty of them throughout the show. But, Lady Gaga once said, you can reach out to 100 people, and then 99 will say no. But if you say that one yes, it'll change everything. And it'll make that long time of struggle, you honestly forget about it because it's all about the here and now. And then you have this whole story about how you got there. So I'm sure we can both emphasize it's worth it. There's no negative side for it. There is somebody who will be that special angel for you and will put themselves out there for you to get your next opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think like, again, it just all goes back to make you being that person to take the first step, right? Because I think, like you said, I think everyone out there is decent, but not everyone maybe have the courage to, approach you randomly, right? Like,
right.
Or again, don't like just be walking up to random people all, have a little bit of social like awareness. But if you go to something or that someone is interested in the same thing that you are, reach out to them. There's so many ways to do it, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Shoot them a DM like, hey, I'm just trying to learn about this. I've seen that you're successful in this.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm at. Can I just like have a couple minutes of your time to ask questions? Can I buy you a coffee? Like just, anything to give you the opportunity to pick their brain, because for one, they'll be flattered about it. And then two, again, you're being able to kind of gain knowledge that you want, and then also add someone to your network. Yeah. A quick little story. I don't know. I just want to share it.
Sure, man.
Again, and it's not like anything crazy about networking, but I just remember my freshman year of college, I was sitting in the dining hall one morning, getting breakfast before like my 9 a.m. class.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was a freshman. I didn't like know a ton of people yet. But one thing I said to myself when I come to college, be very friendly and like, just put yourself out there. I saw this kid literally sitting by himself. I was sitting by myself. I walked up to him. I just said, hey, would you mind if I ate breakfast with you? His name was Ben Pfeiffer. And since that day, me and him have like stayed in touch and been good friends. We played on like intramural sports teams. And I don't know why, but I always think back to that moment. And I think to myself, like, damn, like if for whatever reason that day, I just didn't go up to him and like put myself out there, who knows if I'd even have ever talked to him one time in my entire college, like career, you know what I mean? So like, that's just like an example. So that has lasted since 7 years. And I'm sure if Ben ever watches this, he'll think, damn, that's right. Ryan was the kid that randomly came up to me and probably like ruined his breakfast, but we're still friends. So
shouts to Ben Pfeiffer. Indeed.
Shout out to Ben Pfeiffer.
Yo, like I said, it just goes a long way.
It does.
Take a million shots. You will make it eventually. And as long as you have the patience, and if it comes to like, job stuff, if you're just understand and not take rejection personally, which the more you do it, the easier it is to let it go.
Trust me, I know. Sales, I tell people I hear no for a living professionally. So
yeah,
I'm all about dealing with the rejection and getting over it 100%.
And look at where it's led you so far. And we know it's going to keep growing from there. And like the same thing with me when I do these shows and approach people with it and stuff like that. You know, I don't hear from everyone all the time. Some people ghost, some people say no. Most of the time the ghost doesn't know, but
Yeah,
it's just have fun with it. Know you're confident with it, and people will recognize it and give you those opportunities. And
I agree.
the next chapter is gonna happen. You just keep growing and growing and growing.
That's what it's all about. Just step after step. Just keep trying to increase in whatever you're trying to do.
Indeed, man. That's why we're all making it. Have
Yes,
that
sir.
smile. It's
Hell
going
yeah.
to pan out. I guarantee it, one way or the other. And it'll be worth it for you at the end of the day too. So keep putting yourself out there and make those big moves.
Thanks, man. You too.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Yo, just some more Florida things, Brian. So
Sure.
no offense with in the terms of the whole state of Florida, there's probably that stereotype that people do some crazy things in Florida. Like you had SNL Seth Meyers had a segment once. What happened in Florida today? And, you know, us in the Northeast, you know, see Florida, you know, definitely admire it. People run over it to all the time. They appreciate it. They always like to banter, say, what's the craziest thing the Florida man's doing or what's going on in there? I was just wondering, now that you are in the world of the great state of Florida, I was wondering, is it just funny to you now, you know, as maybe the whole country sees Florida? I don't want to say as like a joke or anything, but they just notice that Florida has a lot of interesting stories coming out of it.
Yeah.
Is it funny to you now that you're on the other side?
It is funny. Like, I mean, once in a while you'll get the like a Florida man, you know, you get all those headlines and stuff. And I did like kind of get put onto that when I was coming down here.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't think I've like had any like crazy, like, oh man, I just saw like a Florida man cookie cutter story. Like that was wild. But I definitely think like coming from up north where we're from, especially in Connecticut and Norwalk, moving down here, there's a totally different culture, especially compared to like where I was at in Virginia too. Some I really enjoy, I think are for the better. Some I think yeah. But I'll tell you this, man, old people are fucking crazy. That's one thing I've learned about Florida. They still go out, they still get down, and they act like they're 20, whatever, 30 years old. It's like a new life for them, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'd say, I guess, about Florida.
You know, enjoy the human spirit while you got it. You might as well at that point.
100%. I mean, you work all, like, for most people, right? I guess you like kind of worked a good amount of your life, you know, because a lot of people retire in Florida to get here. Once you get here, right? Make the most of it. I mean, that's what you try to do and why you try to get here. But yeah, and also I'll say this about Florida. I have seen gators. They are a thing. It's not a rumor. I've seen them. They're here. They live here. It's kind of cool sometimes too, but others it's like, oh wow, you're like a gator like walked on like a golf course and you're like, what if I was out there? But that hasn't happened yet either.
Is it like the gator is like to the deer up north? Do you see him as frequently like that?
I would say as frequently as that. Funnily enough, where I used to work at Gartner when we were in the office before COVID, there actually was a little gator in our pond. It was like 3 feet. So whenever me and my buddies would go like on a lap after lunch, once in a while we'd see it just like chilling out there. It was a little thing, would never hurt anyone, but yeah.
Yo, save the gators out here.
Save the gators.
But that's cool. That's cool. I was wondering whether someone like in Florida, like, you know, do they have any special food chains? Like I've heard like of Bojangles or anything like that. Have you been enjoy the like Benihana's? I don't know if they're down there, but I know there's one from Wolf of Wall Street. They said on the Benihana Miami.
There's one that I really like. It's not the Benihana. What is the Jimmy Buffett? Jimmy Buffett's. I love Jimmy Buffett's.
Jimmy Buffett's.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett's dope. They have good food, good drinks. And I actually think by the beach near me down here in Fort Myers Beach, they're putting one up soon.
Okay.
So I like some Jimmy Buffett. There's another chain around here called Bahama Breeze. I like. I think around just like Florida in general, though, in terms of like restaurants and stuff, we have very similar chains. There hasn't been like too many that have stood out to me that I'm like, wow, like that's a really cool Florida chain. But a lot of just everywhere, like 2-for-1 like drink deals at like happy hour. Like it's like a crazy standard, which I'm a huge fan of. But everything's just like in that department too. I feel like is a lot cheaper. Like you go home, let's say like a beer, it's like $7-8. Like here, it's like 3 or 4. Like
Can't
so,
get tired of that.
yeah. So that like that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I've noticed like just every other place I've been, I've never seen all these happy hours like 2 for 1, whatever. So that's just something I've noticed.
See, Southern hospitality is real.
It is. I learned that at JMU too. Even in Virginia, Southern hospitality starts that soon. So
okay, so people
it is
really
a real thing.
Do take
sure.
the time out to be genuine and kind and have patience, huh?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say more than like up north. And I don't think like it's a northern people are like asshole thing. I think it's just like the culture. Yeah. It's like, hey, like I wake up, like I'm on my grind, I'm doing my thing, like I'm on my path, like I can't deviate off of it so much. Whereas like others, maybe in the South, it's like I'm doing my thing, but I can set aside a couple minutes to like talk to this person or like genuinely show interest or care.
Yeah,
I would say, but I would definitely say like there's definitely a little bit of a difference. Like Southern hospitality is a fact. It's a thing.
It shows that people have the patience and it's not as serious as maybe we make it out to be up north. And maybe we can take those lessons from all our friends down in the South.
Yep. I'm definitely happy I have my like northern roots though, because I feel like that being said too, and maybe this is funny. So speaking of restaurants as well, like the service level, way better up north. And I don't, and it's not like I've worked as a busboy. I'm not like a stingy customer. I just think like, it's just that kind of goes back to that. Hey, like I'm not in a rush. Like I'm not trying to like, we're all here to have a good time. We're not like trying to make your food like good and quick. Like, it's just like, we're just kind of going with the flow. Whereas up north, it's like, yeah, I've got my dinner in like 40 minutes. Like what the hell is going on? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so sometimes like I've noticed that too, but I think it's just like a culture difference.
Yeah, it's all about that quality over quantity at the end of the day. It all circles back to that. And this just shows more reason. Just enjoy this life while we can, especially this crazy year.
Yeah, man.
Yo, another thing I want to ask you about, obviously, I know you're a golf fan. How's it been this year for you? You've been having a good season playing out there on those beautiful Florida courses and such?
Dude, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I suck at golf. I'm so bad. I've never even broken 100. I get out there and I have fun with my buddies. Like, there's nothing better than just hitting like the golf course and having a few beers with your friends. But definitely. I suck. Like, it's frustrating. Especially it's frustrating for me too, because like I feel like I'm pretty decent when it comes to like other pickup sports. Like I play a lot of things, and like golf, I can't get a grip on. I probably need to play it more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is, like just repetition. It wasn't like a main thing I did growing up, but I have fun when I'm out there. I try not to get like frustrated, but sometimes the competitor in me is just like, dude, like I can't keep like double bogeying every hole and have fun. Like, I don't know. It's tough. But yeah, there's a ton, like that's one thing too. Fun fact about Fort Myers, it is actually, I believe in the US, the #1 per square mile, like the most golf courses per square mile anywhere in the US. I believe so. Someone told me that, so you could fact check me, but if not, it's up there. So there's plenty of golf courses around here. I do play a decent amount, especially in the summer, because if anyone doesn't have the app like Golf Now, it's great. Use my discount code. This is my plug. But
yes, please give it to us.
I'm just kidding. But it's just like an app basically just tells you when like unbooked tee times are, and it gives you like a discounted rate. And like here in summer, when there's like a ton of open spots because it's so hot and no like old people want to play, you can get on a course for like literally 18 holes in a cart for like $25. So it's it's pretty cool there. So that's usually when I'm out there, because I'm like, I'm not going to spend 100 to just go stuck. Like I'd rather spend a very modest price and then just go suck.
Right. Like I feel like we're at this age of our life where now we get into golf for real, because you notice, wow, people really play golf forever at this
lifetime
point. Like
the
last time, like now that you're starting your career, I mean, you'll play pickup games and such, but there's no more intramural season if you're not a pro yet. But you have golf now. You're gonna be playing this next 50 years. And we just have to start getting used to it. But hey, I bet maybe in a few years you'll have a legit handicap as I'm trying to too. I'm pretty bad myself, but I
Yep.
love putting. But I just love the game, and now really paying attention to the PGA more now and could break it down. I feel like it's just that point of life where you just start to get into golf.
Yeah. As I've gotten older, I've definitely appreciated it more. And like when I watch it now, I'm like, Jesus, these guys are something special. Like,
Yeah, right.
you could give me 100 strokes like at a shot that these guys do regularly, and I'd never even come close to hitting it. It's just like, wow. But when I was younger, I would watch and be like, this is so boring. I don't
Right.
like, you just like develop an appreciation for it. I think the more you play and the older you get.
Absolutely. And pretty much you just really focus on Tiger, maybe like Phil Mickelson when I was growing up. But now we have
Yeah.
legit personalities from like Colin Morisaka,
DeChambeau and
Bryson
Koepka
DeChambeau,
right now is
Brooks
a
and
pretty big
Koepka.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the legit rivalry they have
What
going, which
team
is
are you? I'm
fun.
curious. You Koepka or you DeChambeau?
Oof, it's really tough because I just love Bryson DeChambeau is just a savage. It's just like watching a guy hit 450-foot home run. He
Yeah.
started to be more accurate with it, and he turns it to like this bodybuilder turned into golfer. But I think of going with Brooks. He's like the nice bro of golf. Like he's like a bro, but like a sophisticated one. And by bro, I mean like just someone our age connect with. I mean, he doesn't
Yeah.
get out of hand, and he has a great sense of humor too. But yeah, I think gun to my head, I'm Team Brooks for the sake of the fact I think he's a good face of golf and he's fun, has a personality to it. And Bryson's fun too, but he just smashes that. He's the Hulk playing out there. Which
Yeah.
side are you on?
I'm definitely Team Brooks. I agree
Yeah,
though. DeChambeau is really fun to watch. Like anytime he's on the tee box, it's must see TV because he just, I mean, torques his whole body and lunges
yeah,
the
right.
ball. It's crazy.
It's like Happy
Um,
Gilmore.
yeah. But I don't know. I just like my preference is just Brooks. I find him like you said, kind of like a bro on the golf course. He's funny. And just like they're back and forth. I don't know. I feel like sometimes he edges him out with like the mental games, and it's
Yeah,
cool.
right. I mean, who was the one they dropped the caddy, and then I think Bryson dropped. Was it Bryson dropped his caddy, and then Brooks just hired him right away over?
I didn't. Did that happen? That's crazy. If he did, that's a big
Yeah,
play.
I might have them
No
switch
way.
up, but I'm like confident Bryson dropped his caddy, and then Brooks took him over, and then he did a trolling post.
That's awesome. I saw one that he did that I really liked. I guess not Kepka, sorry. DeChambeau was in like warm-ups or whatever.
Yeah,
And everyone was like chanting something about Brooks and like Kepka not I keep getting them. DeChambeau got like those fans like kicked out.
yeah.
So Brooks comes on Twitter and is like, hey, heard a couple of you guys like got your weekend cut short from the tournament. For any of those that you did, me and Michelob Ultra, like DM me, we're gonna send you a 30 rack
See,
of beer. It's like
that's
I
what I'm
love
talking
that. It's
about.
like, dude,
Yeah,
like that's just so awesome.
and also great was Justin Thomas is fun to watch, and John Rahm that comeback after getting cut from
Yeah,
COVID and then winning the PGA
that was
Championship. I
cool.
mean,
I saw
that's
that
some poetic justice right there.
for sure.
And yeah, golf's in a good spot. And I think probably my favorite really is Colin Morikawa, what he's been doing. And he's a funny guy. Listen to him in interviews. It's nice to show some more personalities beyond, the Tiger Woods, which obviously great. I mean, he won the Masters 2 years ago. What a story. And
Oh yeah.
Phil Mickelson, he won. He won. Oh, why am I blanking? Not the
Was
U.S.
it
Open. But
PGA
yeah, he won too. Exactly. He won PGA. No,
or the US Open? Was it?
that's the one he's missing to get the Triple Crown. Let me get this real quick. I don't want to say Masters,
It
but
wasn't the Masters.
yeah. I'm gonna have the answer in 3, 2, 1. So he won his okay, I got it right here.
All right.
Yeah, he won PGA in
Okay.
this year, which was great.
Yeah,
And
like 51. So old to
exactly.
win that, that's crazy.
The lefty too. I'm a lefty golfer, so
Oh, are you?
oh yeah.
Nice.
So we always got love for the fellow southpaws, and not a lot of them. So yeah, it's funny. Even at some courses, they don't have lefty golf clubs, so it's a good time with that. And I just love this time of getting really into golf on top of all the other sports. And it's a good time. And by the way, Colin won the British Open, is what I meant to say.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, they just announced today they announced the new tournament schedule, and we'll see where it goes. So that's one thing we have to do one day, Ryan.
Get on the links.
Get on the links,
Yeah.
even if it's just a back nine or whatever. We'll make that happen one
Yeah,
day.
for sure. I'd be up for it.
And speaking of the other sports,
Yeah.
why don't we hit on some? Let's hit on some baseball right now. I know you're a big Met fan, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
You must be psyched in this time. I know, depending who you ask, the Mets are either having a really good season, they're division winners, or they're having a bad season and they're taking advantage of a bad division. But we're now seeing the Braves made some big moves over the deadline, and the Phillies have been winning a lot. How you feeling about your Mets, Ryan?
So I'm feeling good. A couple reasons why. And yeah, I agree. Like it depends on who you ask. So I've been a Mets fan all my life. I've never seen them win. I've seen very, very, very mediocre seasons. Luckily, we made it to the World Series. I think it was 2015. But which was awesome. It was kind of like a Cinderella run, and we ended up kind of pissing the whole thing away because of errors. But that aside, I'm ecstatic for two reasons. Like, for one, our new owner, love him.
Stevie Cohen. So your team, Stevie Cohen.
Dude, he actually like cares. He's dipping into his pockets and making moves. He wants us to win, and that's what it comes down to. Like, I feel like for years, we're putting like minor league talent like on the field, quite frankly. Like we weren't, going after people. We weren't making moves in the offseason. We weren't like willing to write big checks. But yeah, as of right now, we got Lindor. We just picked up Baez. I know DeGrom's hurt, but like, I mean, goddamn, he's the best pitcher in the league. It's insane.
Yeah, we're watching greatness.
Yeah,
we really are
crazy.
these last few years.
I don't think like I know we're in first in the division. And I might spite myself by saying that I'd be surprised if we, won the World Series. And at the end of the day, like that's the goal this year. But my excitement is the fact that in the short amount of time, we've made some very good pickups. We're clearly like scanning the market constantly to add assets, which we were never doing before. And I think at the end of the day, that's only going to lead to us finally getting to that point and hopefully coming over the hump of winning a World Series. So I'm very excited about my Mets. Huh?
Yeah, no more Wilpons. No more Wilpon way of thinking. You can have legitimate expectations.
Exactly.
And like you said, remember like Eric Campbell was a cleanup hitter at one point, or like a John Mayberry Jr. That's how you know.
Dude, it was honestly like the past couple of years, it's been hard to even watch them. Like it's been tough, but I feel like we've really are starting to turn it around. So
yeah, nice comeback. Who else you like from these teams? Like, who are some of your favorite players you've been really enjoying in this new era?
In the new era, like just in general in baseball?
Yeah, tell me about baseball besides the Mets. On top of the Mets, like you mentioned, also like your Lindors, your biases, your DeGroms, Polar Bear, Pete Alonso's. He looks like someone you could just have a beer with in real life regularly, and he's just 450 bombs and stuff.
He's awesome. He's been someone that's really developed for us.
Homegrown
kind of
too,
out of nowhere.
like you said.
Yeah. I think just in general in baseball, like I think Mike Trout is the best. Like he is by far and away the best all around player in the league. I think Mookie Betts is an incredible player as well. Like I'll even say like a 6-star 5-tool like player, right? Every single aspect of the game he excels at.
Yeah.
So I really like those guys. I mean, obviously you got those guys that are coming up right now, like Tatis Jr., Lindor, one of them. I really like, why is his name escaping me right now? He's on the Nats.
Juan Soto.
Thank you. I love him. I don't know why, but I just like when I see him stand in the batter's box, you could just tell like his swing is so vicious. He doesn't like give up on any at bats.
He's confident.
I think, he's young too. And I like him a lot. Obviously like I like Judge, even though I'm a Mets fan, like I like watching him. I think he's been really cool. I'm really excited to see what Gleyber Torres turns into. I think he's got a lot of promise. And then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I love that. Right? I always love seeing like someone that like their dad was in the league and then their son grows up and like kind of seeing like how they follow in their footsteps or like whatever their legacy ends up being. I always love that. And I think he's already starting to really, make a name for him. Well, he's already made a name for himself, but like really starting to engrave himself and looks like he'll he's going to keep taking off. So I would say like all those guys, I really enjoy just hearing about and watching. There's others too, but
Yeah,
on the top of my head.
I do think this year specifically, baseball's done better. A lot of people complain about how they market their players, but specifically in the 2021 season, I think they've been making more of a push on their Instagrams, showcasing their players, like
Yeah.
having people care, having Otani becoming this
Otani, I forgot
attraction.
him. He's awesome.
It's been a good time for baseball. It
I
really
think they're
has
just like,
been.
I think they're just having like more fun out there. Like I feel
Yeah,
like in the field, like I'm just watching like more high fives, more smiles. Like I don't know. It just seems like all around like baseball, like they're having more fun. Like, you know?
definitely. I think that's what we need, and it shows that it's not that serious or deep. And having the crowds back show their appreciation, and a really interesting trading deadline that made legit headlines. We're in for a good ride this fall and such. No pun intended in that.
I was just about to say and such. That's funny.
Yo, man, another thing. I know you're a huge hockey fan, big Ranger
Yeah,
fan. First
I
on this,
am.
you heard about this Evander Kane story about
No,
his really?
no. What happened?
So allegedly, Evander Kane plays on the San Jose Sharks.
Uh-huh.
He was known to have a gambling issue, right? And his wife and him are having a messy divorce, and she just went huge bombshell on Instagram saying that he would bet on games. She actually said he would throw games that he was playing in to do bets. So really messy
That he was playing in?
situation. Yeah.
Like
And
throwing his own games that he's betting on himself?
exactly.
She's claiming?
That's what she's claiming. All this
Wow, that is a
allegedly.
bomb.
So,
Okay. I have not heard of that. Wow.
this is going to
Whoa,
be
whoa,
a
whoa.
big story that's going to be on probably up until the season starts. And that's just one thing that's a mess, but
Okay.
hopefully it's not true. And we
Yeah.
don't want to see that, especially sports gambling being legalized. Well, they have the ability to nationwide, up to the states to allow it. And yeah, that's just one crazy headline off the NHL
Well,
world.
I'll say, yeah, I didn't know about that. I'll say it's kind of like I know Pete Rose didn't ever bet
Yeah,
on any games of himself. But it kind
right.
of sounds like a similar situation. I'll say if that's true, screw that guy. Like
Yeah,
that's just bullshit. You can't do that.
exactly. You can't
Like
cost your own team like that.
yeah, the integrity of the game is broke there, and like for a selfish gain, I think that's ridiculous. Also say you never know, like if they're going through divorce, that's very emotional. Tensions are high, and like
Exactly.
you never know what
This is
people
solely
people
based
have
off of
claimed a
this.
lot of things in those
Yeah,
situations too. I'm hoping that maybe this is just the case because I would hate to see that because he's a great player, like he's good, and I would hate to
right.
see like just know that a top caliber player is like suppressing his talent for
Exactly.
monetary gain when he's already getting paid plenty is
Just got that big
beyond
max
me.
deal.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. I have not heard of that, and that's really interesting. I'm fingers crossed that that's more of just a rumor.
exactly. So how about this? Why don't we focus on the Rangers?
Yeah,
They've
go
had
Rangers, baby.
quite a transition. Last season ended kind of awkwardly. Yeah, the whole
Yeah,
Tom. What did you make of the whole Tom Wilson incident and stuff? And did
yeah.
you? I know that it was nice to see the players
It was
fight for their
cool. Some old
players,
school.
even if they didn't necessarily win the fight. But it was nice to see a nice end of a crazy season. But then it did lead to them cleaning house, new GM, new coach,
Yep.
and we'll see where this happens. The GM and Chris Drury.
Very cool. I'm a fan.
Definitely, you have Gerard Gallant now, the new coach of the Rangers, and his big claim to fame. He led the Vegas Golden Knights to a Stanley Cup, just short of a Stanley Cup in his very
Yep.
first season. Now he's a Rangers coach.
Yep.
A lot of things to look forward to. So first, talk to me what you think about the end, the whole Tom Wilson incident,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about
So
this upcoming season.
yeah, absolutely. So that whole situation is interesting because I know like it got a lot of like, hey, what is hockey now? What we can't fight.
Right.
And on top of that too, like, oh, look at his track record. So my honest and brutal opinion, because I've watched that play many times, I've gone back and forth with a bunch of my friends, and I'll try and like keep my Rangers bias out of it. So,
Mhm.
and again, I'll explain it is this, like for anyone that hasn't played hockey or is not a hockey fan, if you are, you know this, and it's similar in baseball. There's a code to the game, right? And the one of the codes is you don't touch my fucking goalie. So
Right.
if someone's in the crease after they have it, whatever, defenseman, at all costs, you clear house. You get the opposing team out there. That's kind of where like that situation started. If you watch the video, right? So like Tom Wilson, I forget who he checks in the back of the head, kind of like clears house on
Panarin.
Not Panarin. It was the guy before that, and I forget who. I forget who, and I'm mad that I'm forgetting it. We'll get to Panarin in a second, but you clear house and you get those guys out of the way. Like when they're standing over your goalie, they're in front of you. And in the video, the guy is not even like his back's towards the goalie. His head is on the ground, completely defenseless. And then Tom pushes like his stick and his hands like on his head.
Yeah,
that is breaking another code of when someone's defenseless, like clearly not doing anything, like don't cheap shot someone.
Right.
So I get the like where some people say like, hey, he's clearing out things out of the goalie. Like I understand, but like in that scenario, I didn't think it fell under like that type of play. 2, once he did that, here's the next code. You protect your fucking teammates. No matter what it is, you're always on your teammate's side, right or wrong. So Rangers players come in, Capitals players come in, right? A lot of going on, a lot of shuffling, this and this. The last code I'll talk about is whoever the star players are, right? Your players on the team, protect them at all costs. And it's also like kind of an unwritten thing, like, hey, on the other team, you don't try and cheap shot the stars, right? You can obviously like check them, whatever. But when it comes to like fighting and stuff, like you're going to have to go through 5 other guys before you drop the gloves with our star player. Like it doesn't matter. Like if Panarin drops the gloves, I guarantee you all other 4 guys that are on the ice are going to rush over, skate over, drop their gloves and like not let him fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that. So anyways,
you accepted your fate at that point. So get ready.
Exactly. So in that scrum, Wilson was going after, again, I believe the guy pushed down all this other stuff, but he finds Panarin. And I know in the moment, like things are happening quick, but I know in the moment he knows it's Panarin and uses that opportunity for a guy that is way smaller than him, a much more like skilled compact type player, and just tries to like trounce him. Right. And like, I thought like, in my opinion, from like the fact that he tried to hit a guy down and in the head, moreover, when he's literally like his arms are really like at his like sides, like his head is on the ice. Like they're not even like, he has no defense. And on top of that too, in that whole scrum, finding Panarin and then just like dragging him to the ground willingly, like, and knowing while all the other guys are tied up. Like I thought the whole thing was bullshit. I get it. It's hockey. Like, fighting happens and like, it's a rough sport. But those 2 progressions, I really wasn't a fan of. And I actually respect Wilson a lot. I like his game. He's a guy that's an enforcer, can like pick up the energy for your team and also like actually contribute. He's not just like a fighter. Like he actually scores and puts up points.
Yeah.
But was not a fan of that. I thought he absolutely should have gotten suspended. And I thought it was kind of BS that the next game, obviously with all the fights and stuff, one of our guys, took a run at him and like ended up getting suspended back, like rightfully so, like whatever. But like he should have been suspended for that. Like at least 1 game. The fact that he wasn't, I think is ridiculous. But that was a big moment. It was cool though to see like a whole line brawl. You don't see those often.
No, you don't.
It actually reminded me of when the Rangers did that against the Devils back in like 2011 or whatever it was.
Right.
I remember watching that with my dad. But yeah, that's my opinion on the whole thing. Aside from that, though, actually, I want to hear your opinion. Then I'll talk about like the rest of the Rangers and what we got going on.
So, by the way, that play that started it all was him against a hit against Brandon Lemieux, I believe. If I'm reading that correctly.
Lemieux. Okay. But, so we hit Lemieux like on the ground, and everything just like spiraled from there.
Yeah. Fuck that. But I think in a time where the Rangers, these last few seasons, a bit tough for them. That early decade, they were killing it, making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Whether it gets, tough playoff losses against Tampa and then the Devils. Then you go to the Stanley Cup and, what was it? Out of 5 games, 4 of them were in overtime and they lost all of them. And, the famous Marian Gaborik, the beloved Ranger, gave the pass to Martinez that would gave the win for Lundqvist. I think in the last, by the time that ended, that last really tough playoff losses, it was in 16 against Pittsburgh. And then it was all downhill from there. Henrik goes, had the heart problem.
Yeah.
You see McDonough go to win Stanley Cups with
2 of them.
Tampa.
Happy to see that for him though.
Yeah.
But it is tough to see him do it in another jersey because he's a great player.
Exactly. Then you see like Carl Hagelin leave, and then all this. Then you have this
Yep.
team rebuilding when they weren't really necessarily ready or supposed to, and then dismissing Vigneault. It's been they really, and then you see this rise of the Islanders, who's been something else, really
Yep.
making those push very close from knocking out the Islanders, and that was the real Stanley Cup instead of the Canadiens Lightning.
Yeah.
I think it was just leading up to this. Dan Quinn wasn't really that good of a coach, not even making the playoffs, not really starting a spur like a Tortorella did and stuff. I think they oddly needed a thing like this moment to happen. Now, I don't want to see
Hmm.
anyone get hurt. And also, don't
Yeah.
forget, Panarin had that whole Russian probe thing. That was an issue. This
Yeah.
team was a mess, really, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And again, I don't want to see the players get hurt because of what happened, but this was a nice, get me up towards the end of the season, and you have all this momentum. I think, I'm not, people love to criticize Dolan, but he did make the right decision in, cleaning house. You have beloved Chris Drury now leading the team. People are excited with this coaching hire. I think this was, though it was an awkward and even embarrassing moment for the franchise, it really, I think, will lead into better days. Watch out for Sisterchkin. He's going to be a great
Yes.
replacement at the goal. And let's just rock and
Yep.
roll from there. I know the Islanders cannot have any more momentum with um what they've
Yeah.
been doing the last couple of years, but there's no reason why the Rangers can't make a push for it too. Remember, they did make the bubble
They did.
last season, and you can only go up from there. So that's how I feel. This moment, I think, will really spark a whole new era in Rangers hockey.
I agree. I think a lot of changes need to be made, and there's no like doubting we're definitely in a rebuild phase. But
Yep.
I think through that phase, we've done a good job. Like if you look at our roster right now, I mean, we got a bunch. We have the youngest team in the league,
Yep.
and for anyone that doesn't know, the NHL right now is completely transitioning to these newer, younger, faster skill guys. Like the
Yeah.
game, the flow, the movement of it is entirely changing, and these younger guys are the ones that are leading that change. So right now we have a very young team, but the young guys that we brought in are high skilled level recruits. We got very lucky. We got that second overall draft pick, and then we got the first overall draft pick.
Yeah.
Ended up getting
Lafreniere, baby.
Cabo Caco and Lafreniere. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those guys. And then on top of that too, we have two studs in Panarin and Zibanejad.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Adam Fox, our defenseman, just won the Norris Trophy this year.
Yep.
He emerged. But yeah, I think, I don't know if we're there yet. I think we definitely have the firepower. It's hard to say. It's not like basketball. It's like, oh, you only need like one more piece. Like
Literally, right?
I'm a firm believer, like at the end of the day, hockey, you can have your stars, but it really all matters about how the team gels and the chemistry. Like how does the puck flow? How does it move? And it doesn't matter like what the names are on the team. Like it just matters who's out there and how they move it.
Exactly. They're a true team sport in that sense.
Very true team sport. And I'm hoping that with all these changes, the talent that we do have, the age of the talent, and the new general manager, Chris Drury, I love when GMs are ex-players, because I feel like there's just a whole other level of understanding that needs to happen, especially with today's day and age. Because I'm telling you, out of all the sports, and again, bias aside, hockey is changing so much more rapidly than the others. Like if you look at a game from 5 years ago and a game from 5 years now, the flow of it, the movement, the speed of it is entirely different. Like it's crazy.
And you got that big deal from ESPN. So, bringing more of a mainstream into it, and the TNT signing as well. That's just only going to add more exposure to the game than ever before.
It should. Playoff hockey needs to blow up because it is the best. It's the best. If anyone out there is a sports fan and you're not watching playoff hockey, figure it out, because it's so much passion, so much excitement. You never know what's going to happen. All the games going to the wire or overtime.
Yeah.
It's great.
Nothing beats it. And it's for anybody. So you're all good. Like, look at what the Blues did 2 seasons. They were literally the last place team going in the All-Star
It's
break.
all about who gets hot. Like I said, it doesn't matter who's on the team or what. Like it just all who's playing right at the right time. It really, that's all it comes down to.
Yeah, I really think, especially with the TV deals, and shouts to Bettman. I know people have his criticism for him, but those TV deals are humongous, and completely leaving NBC, I think, for the right reason. And you're just adding more of the exposure for it. You're going to excite people. and you'll now have more than the one Sports Center report on the Stanley Cup post. Now I think that's going to change now. It's going to go naturally. So it's a good thing. It's a good time to be a hockey fan.
I think so too. And I follow like the NHL social media and a couple other accounts. I'll tell you what, they do it right. Like, I feel like they really got a beat on the consumer and they really make it fun. And they've been kind of ahead of some of these other leagues. Like for example, like the NFL is non-existent when it comes to social media. Like, I just don't think they do it. Like, for what they are, like they could, they're just not that great. Whereas the NHL, for being a much more smaller market sport, I feel like they've really focused on the little things that surround them outside of the sport that helps grow it. And they've done a really good job.
That's key
at perfecting them. Yeah. Or at least trying to.
You have to get the other aspects. The NFL will always be its mainstay because it's big all over. People love their football. It's weird to say they don't really need much of a social media influence naturally because it's just so massive. But the NHL having these players do TikToks, having these players go amongst the streets, having that behind the scenes look, having those personal, goal scoring, hear the genuine sound of the reaction. Those are big. Doing those polls, you're right. NHL social media does right, and it's going to help them in the long run.
I think so. I definitely think so. I'm excited for the Rangers and the league. So we'll see where it goes.
Let's do it. So good times ahead, man. Yo, also, Ryan, speaking of NFL, you excited for the season for coming up? How you feeling about the NFL season?
I am.
You're a Jets fan, right?
No, I'm actually a Saints fan.
Saints fan, excuse me. Sorry about that.
No worries. I am excited. It'll be interesting to see what we do this year. Obviously, we've had Drew Brees for forever. This is the first season without him and Jameis at the helm. But I'll tell you what. I'm very optimistic, and I think for a good reason. I think, obviously us losing Drew. Well, let me say this. Drew's obviously a legendary Hall of Fame quarterback who won a Super Bowl, absolutely fantastic. But toward the end of his career, I don't know. I think with the modern age, you got to have someone that's mobile and a little bit more arm strength. He was definitely losing that towards the end.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, again, put him down because the guy's – I have his jersey. He's my favorite Saint outside of Reggie Bush, and I love him. But I think it was time for him to go, the injuries and stuff aside. And I'm optimistic because Jameis, although he's had his qualms, he's athletic, he has a strong arm, and I think he's been under the program and under Drew and Sean Payton for a long time. And it's going to be a very similar Teddy Bridgewater type thing because we actually have a defense now, which is huge. But we also have a very strong offense, and Sean Payton is a mastermind that I don't think you're going to see the same Jameis that was in Tampa Bay, just hurling the ball far, going for bombs, getting picked off. It's going to be a much more calculated skill set type game that, is going to be customized to Jameis's strengths. And he's going to be more of a game manager in a way. So I'm hoping that that's the outcome and that'll lead us to a lot more victories. Cause I think we absolutely have the talent. The QB aspect's one thing that we got to see if it works out or not.
Absolutely. Remember, when Jameis did leave Tampa, he did have 30 touchdowns. Now he had 30 interceptions, but that's neither here nor there now. But he knows how to score in his position. He can scramble. I do think, had the bad end of the stick a lot in his NFL career.
He did. I'll tell one more thing about him, and this is for anyone that doesn't know. He just got his eyes fixed the whole time. He's been having the shittiest vision out there. I kid you not, look it up. He finally
I remember hearing that.
It was either contacts or LASIK. So now he finally can see. And for anyone that's played sports, that's huge. So I think that's another aspect that will hopefully change his game as well. You can't complete passes to what you can't see. So
those LASIKs go wrong. One of my favorite coworkers of all time when I worked today, and this guy he said the best decision of his life next to getting married was doing LASIK eye surgery.
Dude, I'm saving up for LASIK. I swear to God. I have contacts. I want to get LASIK so bad.
Yeah, people, that's one surgery that I've heard really makes a difference and makes people's eyes better.
Yeah. So, and I mean, in a sense, it saves you money over time. If I keep buying contacts over a couple of years, the ROI will add up.
Hey, man, get that stuff. And,
I know.
Good time shared. Remember, you have Alvin Kamara coming back.
Yep.
Obviously, he's a game changer. People like what Traquan Smith has.
Yeah, Tre'Quan Smith. We just picked up Devontae Freeman too,
Yeah,
actually.
he did
Yeah.
some good work for the Giants until he got hurt. But
Yeah. Utility guy. Not, obviously
yeah,
Kamara's the back, but it'll be nice to just have someone in case he gets
absolutely
hurt. I have
right.
faith in him.
So you got a lot of to look forward to, and I'm really excited for the Giants. Actually, I'm like
Yeah.
pretty confident we play each other this year. No, it's a Jet. Yo, it is. Yeah, week
Oh, we played
4.
nice.
Week
Week
4.
4. Okay.
Let's
That'll
bring
be
it, man.
that'll be interesting in my group chat. All my buddies are Giants fans. Connor, Brody, Chris, Anthony. Funny enough, I don't know if you know, I went out to visit Connor and Chris in California a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago, but
I
when
saw
we were
that.
there, we saw Victor Cruz, dude. Speaking of
Dude,
Giants.
I think talk to me. Talk to me. You guys were out in like Hollywood Boulevard, right?
Yeah. So we were out there. We were gonna go do the Hollywood hike that day, and we were just like,
Okay.
all right, before we do it, let's go see the boulevard, right? And the stars and stuff. Next thing you know, we turned the corner and I didn't even recognize him. It was either Anthony or Brody. And there's Victor Cruz doing like a game show on the side of the street, like interviewing people for E! News. So Brody, Christian, and Chris went up and they did theirs like before we kind of saw them. Like they actually played with them. And then me, Anthony, and Connor went up, like, hey, like we're Giants fans. Well, they kind of said that, but they were like, we just get a picture. So we took a picture with them. And then he was like, hey, I did you guys a favor. You want to do me a favor? And we were like, yeah, what's up? He's like, would y'all play on this game show for us? We're like,
yo,
absolutely.
Wait,
dude.
is this footage out there?
Yeah, it actually is. We got a little recording of it. It's like it was called I think it's called Cruising the Streets on E! News. Cruising the
Really?
Streets. Yeah, we got on there. I got
Let's go.
everyone they produced to me though. I got like the guesses wrong. What he was doing, he was holding like a big like board or a picture, and it would be like a celebrity's tattoo or like hair or like a feature, and you'd have to like guess the celebrity. But yeah, the one I did, I got like 3 guesses wrong reproduced, but I got on there. We saw Victor Cruz. It was cool. He was a cool guy. But aside from the ones that they showed, like he was laughing at us, dapped us up and we left, but we just kind of wished him luck and we're like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, I'm just as tall as Victor Cruz, so I don't know what they had him listed as, but he's not like obviously a very big muscular guy, but he's not very like tall. Like you wouldn't expect that from like an NFL receiver,
right? Hey, It shows that it's possible if you got the skill out here and you do that Hall of Fame crew you guys have. Great dudes. Tell them I said what's up.
Yeah, man. And I told them I was coming on. They were excited. So,
yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm a big fan of all you guys. So it's great to see what you all been pulling off. And that's some great stuff. Just LA things. How'd you like it? Is it your first time out there?
Yeah, I had never been to the West Coast, nor California. So going out and visiting was really cool. Just obviously to see those guys because I hadn't in a while since
post-COVID too. That's special.
Post-COVID, pretty much. I hadn't even seen I saw I think Anthony at Christmas, and maybe Chris, but the other guys I hadn't at all. So it'd been quite a while. So I was excited to see them. But then also too, like I said, I hadn't been to California ever, so it was kind of like exploratory as well. It was awesome. I really liked it. It's in a way like somewhat similar, I guess, to Florida. Like I feel like when I was on the beach, I shouldn't say that. Like I felt like weather-wise and stuff, like it felt similar. But like it's more of like a city, right? Like whereas Florida, it's a little bit more open. But it was really awesome. Like the beaches we went to were great. They had waves. I hadn't body surfed in like a long time, so it was cool to like be able to do that again. We did the Hollywood hike. The views were awesome. We were able to go out a few nights, so it was just good to go out and have a good time with the boys.
That's what's up.
And then, yeah, like Chris and Connor, they got a dope spot. They're killing it out there. I was happy to see that. Yeah, because they just moved out on their own for the first time. That's where they decided to go, and it's kind of like, I guess in a way similar to me, right? They had their jobs and they were just like, you know what, let's take a leap. So they
might as well.
Yeah, they packed up their shit and went. So it was cool to see that, they're settled in, they're doing well. Got to see Tony and Matera too. That was cool. She lives like kind of close by to them, like 45 minutes. So it was nice to see her. Haven't in a while. And we also, I can't believe I didn't even bring this up. We went to the Dodgers game. Went to the Dodgers game.
Yeah. How
And
about
dude,
that? Tell me about that. Tell me
oh,
about
how
Dodger
about the
game.
Dodgers game? So for one, Dodger Stadium is sick. I didn't realize it, but it's the biggest stadium. And you walk in and you're immediately like, whoa, like this is a big ass baseball stadium.
And
I
they've been there since
realized
the
it.
60s too. So
Yeah,
rock
yeah,
and roll with that.
it was cool. We got great seats for pretty good price, and we all threw money on the game. Obviously, had our little bets going. Made it a
Okay,
little bit more exciting, but. So
definitely.
we're going through the game, and like the Dodgers are down like the whole game up to the 8th inning. It's like 4-1.
And who are they playing?
They were playing the D-backs,
Okay,
Arizona.
cool.
Yeah. So they're down 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. They rally, they make it 4-4. So we're like, holy shit. And the bets that I had the Dodgers -1.5, and then I think the over was 5.5. So at 4-4.
Okay,
4-4,
so you're just like, damn.
I'm like, damn, like,
Get it.
So Arizona comes up 3 down quick, and then we come up. So I think Mookie got on base, then Pujols walked, and then Max Muncy comes up. And so I'm like, oh my God, like a single, like, or whatever to drive in the run, like doesn't help us. But the guy comes up and smacks a walk-off home run right to right field, which is like the same side we're sitting. And because of that, they won 7-4. So we all saw a walk-off and collectively hit our bets. It was electric. Like we were freaking out. It was really cool. Definitely a highlight moment of the trip, and something I'll definitely remember, just like with them, just sport moment I've seen live.
Beautiful.
It was cool. It was really cool.
I love that. That's an amazing story, dude. And I know baseball's a hard sport to bet on. It's so cringy because you don't have the time aspect.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm not even like a big bettor. I just was like, hey, I'm going to the game. Why not? But
okay, man, especially in the state is legal, so just do it. So
true.
Did you have those famous Dodger dogs I've heard about?
I did. I had 2 of them. I had 2 Dodger dogs.
Worth the hype.
I will say they were good, but I don't know. Like I was expecting, because I got the Supreme dog. So I was like, all right, this one's got to come with like something on it, or maybe it's like a better whatever. It was just like a hot dog in a bun. It was like kind of long, I guess. But I was just like, damn, like, I don't know. I was expecting to just be like, oh, I had a Dodger dog today. Like that was really, really something good. It was good. I don't want to like shit on it. It was good, but MV I guess for the hype, lower the expectation a little bit. Like it's a hot dog.
Okay, cool. Well, at least you could say you done it. Yeah, and it's so cool to have that experience. I really want to visit the Dodger Stadium.
I would do it if you could, for sure.
Yeah, I visited my great friend from school out there October 19, so a little before the pandemic. I loved every second of it. I really enjoyed LA a lot. I love the camaraderie, the food, all the extra activities you can do that you can in the East. Yep. I mean, it was a great time. My funny LA story, I may mention it briefly here once, but long story short, he lived in downtown LA. I like the little scooters they allowed there.
Yeah.
So
they still have them.
Yeah, cool. That's what I like to hear. So we just go into this, like upstairs, this huge rooftop party. And I saw people were very laid back, like really laid back. And I saw this person. We were sitting here just hanging out, talking amongst, we got in for free. The bar was fit. The bar, no cover or anything. The drinks were, whatever drinks, but you were fine. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if something felt not off, but just something that felt kind of funny. So they have this pool here, and then there's this girl in this like really elegant gown and lets it all out for everyone to see. With the photographer, she's walking
looking
in.
Good.
Yeah, and I was like, what? She's very confident, and I could see why. But we asked, like, who is that? And I asked the photographer myself. He said this person's name. I can't even remember. And I was like, oh, what does she do? She's like, oh, she does adult films. She's an adult film star. And I'm like, really? Well, I literally said I could see why. And then I asked, like, what event is this? He said, yeah, this is the Pornhub Awards after party. Pornhub Awards after party. They had
no way.
It was across the street was the actual award ceremony. And then we just somehow got in. I mean, I couldn't tell you.
So funny.
It was my buddy's boy who hooked it up, but we got in, and I could say it was a Pornhub after party. And
wow.
That was the most Pornhub thing I saw there. Everyone else was just chilling, and man, I wonder what I really wonder what her name is. American has to be on the show. So you remember that?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it would have been funny if you were like, oh, I know that girl from somewhere. Can't put my finger on it, but
Yeah. Hey,
that's
nice work if
awesome
you
though.
could get it. Did
Yeah,
you?
that's awesome.
Just my last LA thing is, did you
Sure.
see any famous people like on the streets or walking or at your airport? Because I saw Amanda Seyfried. You know Amanda Seyfried?
Nah, I don't actually.
You seen Mean Girls?
I've seen parts of it.
Wait, I'm pretty sure you'll
Maybe
recognize her once I show the picture.
I bet I have once I see it.
Yeah, she was in like Les Mis.
I would say though, aside from like Victor Cruz, I don't think we saw anyone famous really. That was really about it, unless we passed him and didn't realize. But
right?
yeah, he was really the only one.
So it's this girl. Do you recognize her?
I don't.
No,
I don't.
This.
I'm so bad with celebrities. That she looks more familiar there. Let's see. Yeah, that one looks a lot more familiar. Is that her in Mean? That's not her in Mean Girls, is it?
No, I just Google images. This is all they pulled up. But anyway, she was on my flight. We were waiting on the flight home.
Uh-huh.
I was like right next to her. Like I totally could have said hi. I was just so nervous, really. I didn't want to. I didn't want her to say get away from me or like no.
You never would know what to do because you're like, do I play it cool or do I like totally fan like boy or like do I do a little bit of both? I don't know. Like
literally, it was me to this a little like 2 feet this way. Like no one noticed her. It was just me and her chilling. I know obviously I have all this movie stuff. I've seen a few movies, so like I could totally like nerd out, but I did chicken out the one time. And then who was also on our flight was Nick Cannon.
What? No way.
Yeah.
What was he doing on there? That's sick.
I don't know. Just being Nick Cannon. I saw he had 4 kids in 4 months or something like that. So maybe he was preparing for that.
Flying to go see him. Hey, from what we were talking about earlier though with the networking, take that as a lesson. Next time you see a celebrity, say what's up.
Yeah.
Never know.
Exactly.
Never know.
If she hates me, then I won't watch movies anymore.
You're right where you started. So
yeah,
nothing to lose.
And
maybe
don't
she
take
loves
this
you.
example.
I know, but maybe she loves you, and she's like, "Oh, let me see your stuff. I got time to come on this plane."
You're
she
right.
Loves it, and then
absolutely.
Never know.
And then I'm in an Amanda Seyfried movie. From now on, Ryan, if I'm that close, I'm just gonna say what's up. Fuck it.
Yep.
What do I gotta lose? The only time, just don't take this example seriously. But the only other time, I had a friend. Long story short, they saw Lindsay Lohan in the city. They were smoking cigarettes, and he said, "Can I borrow your lighter to start a conversation?" And she said, "I don't want anything to do with you." And then walked away. Now, don't remember that example. It's just a funny story.
I would have said, "I don't want anything to do with you, but your lighter either." So
yeah, you need to make Mean Girls too.
Yeah, that's cool though that he saw her still.
Definitely awesome time, man.
Better to get denied by Lindsay Lohan for a lighter than I guess not say anything to her, right? Like she got the story.
Maybe you'd help her out. Maybe she was smoking too much and she needed a moment of reflection. Take my lighter. But either way, there's always lessons to be learned with that.
For sure.
Yo, man, Ryan, we've been killing it for an hour, bro. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you have been too.
Yeah, man. It's been awesome. I'm enjoying it.
Definitely, man. I hope you want to come back on in the near future too. Be like a recurring guest and such, especially with need hockey coverage or just to chop it up and have our various combos. Love to have you back on, bro.
Yeah, man. Just let me know. I'd be happy to do it. It's fun for me. Like I said, I'm a talker as it is. So just kind of coming on and chopping up is a good time. So absolutely.
Oh man, we're winning with that. That made my day hearing it. But yeah, we got to learn about your journey with Florida, hit golf, hockey, football, visiting LA. We talked about culture shocks and power networking. We really got a nice range of things to talk about here. It was epic.
Yeah, man, I would agree.
So just one last thing I'd like to do with you before we sign off for today.
Okay.
Or actually 2 things.
All
one,
right.
I meant to ask before. You got that picture of Eddie Van Halen in the background, right?
I do. Yeah, right over here.
Yo, man,
Yeah, that's my guy.
dude. So I know
R.I.P.
it was tough. R.I.P. to the great Eddie Van Halen.
Yep.
But yo, is that your favorite band? Van
So
Halen, or one of them, I should say.
okay. So good question. I'll just preface this. I'm a huge classic rock nerd. I
Yeah.
really, really enjoy it. It's a great genre. If you're not into it, you should listen to it. I'm into it because of my dad, but I would say Eddie is my favorite, like, classic rock artist of all time. I think he's the greatest guitarist ever. I think the stuff that he did on that instrument was revolutionary.
Right.
Is still untouched. And if anyone like hasn't seen Eddie Van Halen or doesn't really know about him, I strongly encourage you to go on YouTube and type in Eddie Van Halen Eruption. It's like a 10-minute video of him just like he's in like orange pants and like shirtless. But listen, what they used to do back in the day at classic rock concerts, kind of like now, if you go to a rap concert, like, you know, you'll hear the song on the radio, but when you go see it live, like the artist might do a little extra like freestyle or like drop a verse, whatever. Back in the day, for anyone that doesn't know, they used to like do what's called jamming. So like they would hand it over to the guitarist and they would just kind of like basically freestyle on the guitar. Go look up Eddie Van Halen Eruption with him just jamming at a concert, and it is insane. Like, his fingers are going crazy. The noise is coming out of the guitar. No one else was even able to make those noises at the time. And one other thing I'll just point out too, like I personally really like about that genre of music is, you know, you look at everyone today, there's auto tune, there's all these booths, there's like soundboards and, you know, things to edit, makes things sound different, this, and this. Back in the day, you had 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, their instruments and their talents and a fucking amp. And whatever came out of that, and the microphone was their art, and there wasn't all that other stuff. And like, I think that talent level and that cohesiveness doesn't happen much anymore. So that's another reason why I like nerd out about it. But favorite bands outside of like Van Halen's probably my top 5. I'd probably say like one's Pink Floyd.
Yo, I was bumping the wall this morning at the gym. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. They're all Pink Floyd's awesome. I've listened to Dark Side of the Moon straight way through so many times, just in so many different instances. It's awesome.
Have you ever done the Dark Side of the Moon? You ever see the video that it perfectly lines up with Wizard of Oz? You ever heard that urban legend?
I have heard that. However, I've never done it. I've never done it, but I have heard that. Have you done it?
I've done it. It's actually it's
really
weird.
does it?
It's really weird how perfectly they match up. I highly recommend that. Even if you just watch 2 minutes of it and put one of the songs, it's a solid YouTube watch to kill some time.
I got to do that because when I tell people a lot of the time that my favorite band like is Pink Floyd and like I love Dark Side of the Moon, a lot of people tell me about that, and like for whatever reason I just haven't done it. That's another thing I like about Pink Floyd specifically, like shit like that. Like they're very spacey, like like real kind trippy. Of like sound, like spacey, trippy sound. Yeah. So
makes you think.
They does make you think. I'd say them is 1, Led Zeppelin 2. My dad really put me onto them, and I
got a Led Zeppelin right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see.
Is that Robert Plant? Yeah.
Rob Plant, the crew, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
John
so right after Eddie, by the way, I'd put Jimmy Page as a number 2 guitarist. He was sick too. I would say them. Then maybe I would put Van Halen 3. Honestly, I really like a lot of their songs. Yeah, I'd probably say that's maybe like my top 3. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen.
Like you said, there's a real appreciation for rock music, especially because you have to be you have to have some instrumentation to it. I mean, you can't hide behind a keyboard and computer. While there's nothing wrong with that, and still people pull off great stuff. But there's just that extra little kick and more valuable. Yeah. And definitely Led Zeppelin's up there for me. I have it right next to me. I just think they just know how to like really rock, and you could put them in front of any crowd really. And as long as they'll just have poppin' music. Pink Floyd's great. Red Hot Chili Peppers, probably my number 1 personal fave.
I like them for sure.
It's a huge priority for me to see him in concert, so I can say I did it.
Got to do it, man.
I always want to see Kendrick in concert. I got that done, and I want to see Red Hot Chili Peppers. So Chili Peppers, great. I really love Rage Against the Machine. I got really into them.
I was listening to them this morning in the gym, actually, funnily
See,
enough.
look at that. I
Yeah,
mean, they go hard, ahead of their time.
they do.
Like if their music came out, especially last summer of Summer of Justice, I mean, they'd be chart toppers. And they're having a big concert 2022 in August at the Garden. I'm trying to see myself there. Also, really like Nirvana
Dude.
or Pearl Jam.
Yep. All those guys are great.
Were you
I
about to say
like,
something else?
no, I was gonna say, just like I agree with you. Like all
Oh, hell
those
yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Green Day is great. Blink-182. Those are
Yep.
probably the big rotation there when it comes to rock.
Hell yeah. I like all those guys. I got some type of music for pretty much all of them on my phone.
Absolutely. And what's
Yeah.
cool now with you notice some of these rappers, like some of these trap artists are now implementing a lot of rock sounds to their music. Like you should Trippy Red, Juice World come
Yeah.
to mind. They've been doing that lately. Childish Gambino. I think that's just shows how valuable having a band is behind you.
It's cool. I like to see that sometimes when they incorporate like an old rock beat or like some type of like a snip or something.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that. Like
absolutely.
for whatever reason, I always think of "Sing for the Moment" by Eminem, where he does "Dream On" in the
Yeah.
background. Like that is so hard.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's awesome.
It shows how good and worthwhile they are. Aerosmith went in.
Yep.
Random band. I don't know. This band's been in the news lately because I don't know. You saw that Woodstock '99 doc on HBO Max. Good doc, but
What's it called? Sorry.
Woodstock '99.
Oh, Woodstock
Love,
'99.
Peace, and Rage. It's just about the disaster that concert was. But they
Mhm.
got back in the mainstream. And they like, and then Lollapalooza was this past weekend, and they had a lot of noise. But what do you think of the band Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit. I don't even know him, honestly.
Really? They have songs
No.
like they were like that new metal late '90s, early 2000s song like
Limp
Nookie
Bizkit.
or Rollin'. I play it for you on here, but it would actually be a copyright from the YouTube, so it would knock us off right now. But
Let's
I don't
not
know.
do
They
that.
just always fun, and that Fred Durst is crazy. But I also really like Foo Fighters too.
Foo
Big
Fighters
Foo
is good.
Fighters.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
David Grohl is like the last great rock musician for now. Hopefully now we see new and arrow to push that through. But
I know it's interesting to see where that genre is going, honestly. It's just like not as like prevalent, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't get as
yeah.
much coverage anymore. And I feel like, more people are growing up trying to be like a DJ, like an EDM or
Mhm.
like a rapper, versus hey, let me grab this guitar and shred.
I read this awesome article in Rolling Stone. That's actually a magazine I still read online. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're really great with pop culture. And I have enough of my sports covers. I don't think I need to read a sports magazine. I read so I just read Rolling Stone. That's the one magazine I'm subscribed to. And I read this article last year about 2020s, how rock will make its comeback. Now, this was pre-COVID, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But this guy really felt that
Yeah.
with the rise of TikTok and YouTube and seeing more genres implement rock music, that they will see a return of rock in the mainstream in the 2020s.
I hope so. That'd be
I
really
think
cool.
I think it is, and good music will always last and always live.
Yep.
And like I remember
Definitely
Post
will.
Malone has been great putting rock in his music.
I was gonna say Post Malone is probably like the biggest mainstream guy I think that I know that really tries to incorporates some type of rock or like
Right.
more of like instruments in the background.
Exactly. And it's artists like that which people think bands will make a comeback, and we're gonna enjoy the ride and see. So
We will.
it's gonna be good. I really think it's gonna be a good decade now as we get to the other side of this pandemic, and we're gonna rock and roll with it. Literally and figuratively.
That's a good way to wrap that up.
Yo, man. Just one last thing, Ryan, before we
Sure.
wrap up. And this is an epic show because it's going to be an hour and a half. So that's how you know.
Hell yeah. We had a good time.
For sure. It flew right by. And I have this thing called the Proud Questionnaire. 10 short but deep, meaningful questions. And I'd love to see what you got to say about these questions, Ryan. So you ready to do this?
Okay. Shoot away. Let's do it.
All right. My first question to you, Ryan, is what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Out of any word? Favorite word?
Any word, favorite word. What's your favorite word in this world?
Crazy. That's not my favorite word. It's hard to think. I would say I'll say yes.
Yes
Yes is my favorite word.
All right.
I think because obviously there's so many things that can like come from that. And I think it's always pretty positive. Like, hey, you want to go here? Yes. Oh, in my scenario, hey, do you want to buy this? Yes. Do you like this? Yes. Like it's an affirmative check mark of a word, and usually leads to like something optimistic. So I'll say yes. On top of that too, I think just in general, you should probably try and say yes more than no in life. So
Definitely.
I like the word yes.
Great answer to that. Now I have to ask, what is your least favorite word?
Least favorite word. Now you'd think I'd say no after that, but I think there's some positives to no as well.
Yep.
My least favorite word I'd say is can't.
Can't.
Like,
yep.
yeah, why? I think that sometimes we always say to ourselves, hey, I can't do this, or especially nowadays with like social media, mental health for a lot of people not being where they're at. I feel like a lot of people are constantly saying to themselves like I can't do something, or like have a can't type of image in their mind. And I would like to see people take the apostrophe and T away and turn it into like can. So I would say can't. Because I hate when I think I can't do something, or if I say I can't do something, think the opposite, right? Like try and achieve. So I would say can't. It's my least.
Great answer. I feel that too. And that's probably my favorite word, or at least my least favorite word in this world. So
nice.
This third question is more of a life fulfillment, wholesome question, not a sexual question as some people think or assume. But my question to you is, what turns you on in this world?
Turns me on.
Yeah, like a fulfillment way. What like really brings you a lot of joy, or what really gives you satisfaction, like that type of turn on in this world.
Oh man. Good question. And I see how a lot of people can take this sexually, but I'm going to try and deviate from that.
Yes. I've had two people say sex, and I'm like, you do you, bro, with that.
Yeah. What turns me on in this world? I would say any form of genuine love or appreciation. And this might sound a little narcissistic, but those two things coming back to me based on something that I did to spark that, right? Like someone being so pleased with me, or so like thankful for something I did, or just something I said, or just like my attitude, whatever it is. Someone showing genuine love, appreciation, a compliment or something like that, I think is a really like that feels good. Like that turns me on.
Yeah, I think that's a very wholesome answer. It's not narcissistic. It just shows that when you do put good in the world, good returns to you. And you do it not because it'll come back to you. You do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yep. I would say that is what turns me on. I think there's a very like warming feeling inside when those moments happen, and you can recognize like when those things happen. One other tidbit I would also say too, like if you set out a goal like in your life and you like work really hard and like finally achieve it, that turns me the fuck on too. Like your hard work paying off. I think that is awesome.
How can you not like it at that point?
Yeah.
Great perspective. So what turns you off in this world?
What turns me off? Oh man. That's another tough one, because I feel like there's so many things like I can go about that. What turns me off? You know what turns me off? Especially nowadays, what turns me off is when anyone, and listen, I understand everyone has an opinion. I get it. And everyone is entitled to that opinion. What turns me off is whenever anyone has an opinion, they automatically think that their opinion is right.
Yeah.
And they're not willing to hear anyone else's point of view, situation, or reasoning. I think that nowadays, especially with all that's going on in this world, not to like get on that topic, but it's more important than ever. And I can't stand, because I think there's a lot of culture and people out there that just say, hey, this is my opinion. It's the right opinion. And like, if you're not on this side of the opinion, then you and your opinion don't matter to me. I think that no matter where I'm at with some type of view and whatever it is, and I'm not even like talking like politics here, like sports, just like whatever, I'm always, I don't know if at the end of it we'll agree, but I'm always willing to hear why someone else's opinion is this way, why they've come to it, what their reasoning is. And I would hope that they would ever feel the same. But I feel like nowadays that we're really missing that. And sometimes when I've noticed that, it really puts a sour taste in my mouth and it turns me off because, well, everyone, again, has the right to opinion. I also think everyone has the right to explain it and have someone listen to why they've gotten to that opinion.
Right. Arrogance gets you nowhere. Arrogance will bite you back one way or the other, even if it's a legacy standpoint too. So that's why we appreciate your opinions in this sense, because it is important to hear all perspectives. It makes everything a little bit better and make a little more sense.
Yeah, because at the end of the day too, like I can't tell you how many open conversations I've had with people where it's like, hey, maybe I still have the same viewpoint, but I could say, damn, like I learned something there. And sometimes it has changed like a fragment of like, way I view things or things I didn't know before. And like, I feel like we very much guard ourselves off to those things now because there's such high tension with certain stuff. And I really think everyone needs to have an open ear to their neighbor.
And that's as long as you learn something from it, that's even the real fulfillment part out of that, instead of trying to one up somebody.
Very true.
It gives you too much of a headache if you try to.
Exactly.
So what sound or noise do you love, Ryan?
What sound or noise?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's a really great noise I love? This is gonna be so
What's
random.
that?
Whenever you get a Venmo, that little cha-ching, that little noise, that shit's dope.
Oh yes.
That.
Then
I didn't get a text. I got a little money in my that thing's awesome.
That's a great answer. That's the first one too.
Is that?
That's the first.
I don't know, whatever it is, but whenever I hear that, I'm like, hell yeah. That just made me happy, no matter what it is.
I hate when you walk, you hear that noise. Is that my phone? Nope, it was a person next to you.
Like shit.
That's a great one. Great answer. So with that, what sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise do I hate? Oh man. This is gonna like sound like weird, I guess, but I would say I really hate like it's I'm trying to think how I can put this into words. Like I feel like I've been in so many situations like in public where it either be like an owner with their dog, like a parent with their kid, or like a crying baby. And listen, like I'm not mad at like those noises per se, but I hate when those noises are happening and like whoever the owner or the person that should be like taking care of it either is like actually oblivious to it and shouldn't be, or like is not doing their job to like take care of it. Like I was at like a brewery like 2 weeks ago around here, and there's a lot of other dogs here, right? This dude brings his German Shepherd, and it's it's like a puppy, but like I would say like 8-9 months old, literally like barking its head off at every single dog, like going around this and the owner, like I kid you not, like me and my friends were like counting it, like it got over to like 60, and like it was just like, dude, I get it, you want to like bring your dog out, like cool, like dogs are loud here, but like after a while, maybe your pup's not ready for it. Maybe can we all just like enjoy the beer? Like we tried it out, it didn't work, like you're the owner, like finish up and like maybe take them home, try next week. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think something's very clear from this right now for you to catch on to.
Exactly. Like just that, like those types of noises and situations, like that frustrates me, I guess, is what I'd say. Like not a specific noise, but like a noise and a product of that type of situation, like really irks me.
Yeah. It's okay to walk them out, whether it's like you said, a baby and a, if you're like it's the movies and you if you're watching for some reason, if you have a kid there for some reason,
that's what gets to it too. It's like, why are you putting that potential situation like on other people, or like like for example, like you have maybe like it's not even a baby, like a crying 3-year-old who just didn't get the snack they want and they're throwing like a tantrum. Like, am I really the one that needs to suffer for 10 minutes hearing this kid cry while I'm trying to watch the movie? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, that sucks. And it's probably going to happen to me one day, but I'll tell you, Matt, I'm going to be the one to make the situation right.
Someone's gonna be paying for
like
this.
I just that stuff just irks me. Like I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
you got to take responsibility and figure it out for the rest of the people.
I think you find a lot in sports games. That's tough. One thing I get old, I feel like it's nice how when you go to sports games, the eras when you're a kid, you first probably you may go with your parents or like
Mhm.
a guardian for the first time. Then you're old enough to go to the game with yourself. Then before you know it, you're on dates to games. Then
Yep.
then you go on. Then you're married or whatever. Then you bring your kid to the game. I think that's a nice thing I've noticed, a circle of life that's happening when you go to games. And one thing I don't get with games, like people who bring kids, I'm sorry, who bring infants to games. Like bring your
I don't
kids, definitely. I
either.
encourage that. That's one of my favorite days in your childhood is going
Yeah.
to games. But when you bring like a 1, 2, 3 year old, they're not gonna remember this. I mean, it's
No.
cute. You give them in the little uniform and stuff, but when they cry and when they, and people are games, there's all types of personalities. It's a tough sell for me. I feel like
It is. I agree.
7, 6, 7, 8, that's it. Or more like 7, 8, 9, that's the time to take your kids to the game so they can
Yeah.
remember it, you know?
Remember, and also kind of like in a way, I have like a little bit of stake in the game. Like maybe they've watched baseball a little bit now, and they're like, "Oh my
True.
god, like I understand this," or
Exactly.
like to some capacity. But I agree, and usually I feel like, and again, like I don't want to sound like a jerk. Like if a baby's on a plane and it's crying,
Yeah.
like I would say, I hope that the reason the baby's on the plane is because you guys like this was the only way to go see grandma or whatever. And like,
Right.
obviously, and a plane is a whole other situation. But like, I agree, like a baby at a game, it's like, you couldn't have gotten a babysitter. Like, you wouldn't want to like enjoy
Right.
this yourselves, like with
Exactly.
your husband or whoever you're going or with, or, your wife, like, again, and to your point too, like the baby's not going to remember this. And like, sure, it's probably free for them to like get in, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, and sometimes it works out fine. Sometimes you got good babies or just kids that are like know what the hell's going on. They can control themselves, and like that's fine. But like it
Yeah.
just when it gets to that like point where it's like, hey, like this is obviously a nuisance to everyone else around, and like I'm the one that
Right.
is in charge of this situation. Like I need to take action, and then you don't. It's like those are the noises I hate. It automatically gets me mad.
Yeah.
That's
Use
those
your
noises I
head
hate.
to not get those noises out there.
Exactly.
So, what's your favorite curse word?
Favorite curse word?
Yeah.
Gotta be fuck. I say it like it's the one I say the most. I think it's the most versatile. It could be a positive, it could be a negative, it could be an emphasis, a descriptor. Um, I'd be remiss if I didn't say it was that, because I don't think it's fair to the word, because I use it more than all the other curse words.
Yeah. But hey, it's the most popular word for a reason.
It is. I bet. Is that like the most popular answer you get? I feel like it's gotta be.
That and shit's pretty popular.
Yeah, I would say that's probably my number two.
Yeah, I like the ones that a couple people don't other language ones, but yeah, pretty much fucking shit take it over. Sometimes you see bitch, but
Mm.
those are the popular ones. Um, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
What profession other than my own would I like to attempt?
Mhm.
So right now, I'm a sales guy. What would I like to do outside? Like if I could anything, right? Like
Anything. You want to be an
I
astronaut? You want to
yeah,
be
I would
a
say
coal
kind
miner? Because I
kind of
mean, if you want
our
to be that.
no, definitely not. I don't want no black lung. I would say outside of what I'm doing now, kind of like to talk about what we were doing before, like with the classic rock and musicians, I'd like to pursue being, if I had the talent somehow, a musician. I think it would be
Nice.
pretty sick. I would love to perform on stage, be like famous for my art, and like have people come out that love what I produce and want to hear it. I think that'd be really cool.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know. So,
Never know is right.
what profession would you not like to do?
Coal miner. uh, um, Profession I would not like to do. I would hate to be a fucking politician, man, especially nowadays. Like, and
Yeah.
like, I would hate to do it. That sounds so shitty to me. All these
Right.
hours, all these opinions, all this
How do these
shit.
people sleep at night?
I
Seriously.
yeah, like I would hate to do that. Get me out of that.
Yeah, you will never make 100% of the people happy. Not that that's your goal or anything, but the fact that
Yeah,
there's some people who are out to get you just because of your views now. It's tough.
that there's like so much there to
Yeah,
unravel.
right.
And I would hate to be a part of it. Hate to be a part of it.
My goodness. My final question for you today, Ryan, is if heaven exists, what would you like your God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Wow. So I'm meeting God at the
What would you do? What would you want him to say when you meet him? What's up, Ryan?
well, I definitely don't want to hear him say wrong door. Like that would suck. That would suck.
Sorry, bro. You gotta go downstairs.
Like the perfect like line that he could say when I first got there. Like that's you're asking?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Give me a second.
Yeah, take your time. My favorite one is if you've seen This Is the End, when Craig Robinson says, "Welcome to heaven, motherfuckers." That's probably mine.
That's dope. If God saw me and I was at the gates of heaven, I was kind of like, oh, where am I? And God's right there. What would I want him to say to me? I'd want him to say, I guess like, welcome, man. You did it.
Yeah.
Like,
great answer right there.
Like, you're here. Welcome. You know, I feel like that would just be like all the justification
Yo, here's
I would
Eddie
ever
Van
need
Halen
in my life. Yeah. Yeah. Be like,
right?
Welcome, man. You did it. Eddie's like over by the bar. Go hit him
with
up
all the other
something.
rock gods.
Yeah. Like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. Yo, Ryan, this has been dope. Every
Yeah,
second
dude,
of
it has.
I hope you liked it as much as I have.
I have.
I hope we could continue to do this again another time, man. You were up there, one of the great guests of the show. I really mean it, man. Awesome time.
I really appreciate it. And again, thank you for having me. Like I said, I really appreciate the invite on. I'd be happy to do it again. And I had a blast too. This time flew by.
Crazy. It really did, man. We hit 145 just about. So
yeah,
we did it, man. We did it. And hey, man, if you're ever back in the WAC, or if I make myself down to Florida, let's definitely kick it again sometime too in person.
Yeah, man, definitely. Can I do one quick plug before I leave?
Absolutely. Plug away, man.
Yeah, for anyone out there listening that has made it this far, gotta tell you, my one buddy Nick Calabrese came on this show. As of right now, he has the most views or downloads. Excuse me.
Yes, most downloads.
Correct? How many did you get? How many you get? Over 100?
Yeah, so it's about 103. That was what I checked it out 2 days ago. 103. Right.
Shout out my guy Nick. He's one of my best friends. But hey, download this episode, baby. I'm trying to beat that. I'm trying to be number one.
That's what I'm saying.
Help out my man Matt Brown. Let's do this. Get me up there. Get him up there, and enjoy.
That's what I'm talking about, Ryan. Thank you for that download endorsement again on all podcasting platforms and YouTube, on your Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Odyssey. We're on every single one that lets me put it on there. So please just press that download button.
Do it.
Let's get to 104 and then keep going from there.
Yeah, I love it. Let's try to go 125. That's the goal, people. 125. Okay. Let's do it.
We are going to be on that. 125. Let's start that road. All right, Ryan. Thank you for every second of this. And we'll be talking before we know it again. You the man. Be yourself. And we appreciate you, man. Thanks again for coming on, Ryan.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it as well, Matt. You be good. And thank you again, man. It was awesome.
Anytime. We'll see you soon, bro.
Peace.